Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Helsinki, Finland, and for the ASUS ROG Summer Championship. In the next few days, a team who have traveled across Europe will be battling out a major share of $25,000. First game will be Escape Gaming versus LGR. And hopefully, the player would be ready, but he's not. So, not that it's a big of a deal. They always take their time. Welcome.
Thank you.
How are you guys feeling?
Pretty good. Came here yesterday to Helsinki and stayed, had a good sleep. So I think we feel pretty good.
That's wicked. What you know about LGR?
They're good. They have been together for a long time, and we played them a couple of times. I think they're a pretty good team, but we should be able to make this.
All right. The next one up on the stage. Please give it up for LGR.
Amazing applause.
Welcome, Twist, on the stage.
Thank you.
How are you guys feeling? You played quite long last night.
Well, a bit tired, but overall pretty good. Not tired now, but we had like 3 hours of sleep. That's not enough, but we'll make the best of it.
All right. What do you know about Escape Gaming?
They're pretty good players. We played against them before. A bit different lineup because they have Cadian now, but still they have good individual players, so it will be a good match.
All right. Please shake your hand. I'll let you go on the server. Have fun, boys. And we have two very special boys waiting for you. Natsu and Veda, take it away.
All right, hey, just go through the camera shot, why don't you? Because that's what you should do. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I can't complain.
Yeah, how's Finland treating you so far?
Finland's doing really nice so far. We started our experience of Finland kind of early on Wednesday. I won't go into too many details, but
You shouldn't know.
it was a pretty fun night.
It's not rated R, so.
Yeah, definitely. No, but you know, barring a bit of sleeping issues last night, you know, perfectly fine. I think still it was worse for LGR than it was for us.
Well, definitely. I mean, yeah, they played until almost, I think, 3 in the morning,
yeah.
in the Finnish Championship over the main stage, and yeah, 3-mapper, losing it on the 3rd overtime, I think it was, so against ENS. So, I mean, obviously, it's not the optimal situation to having slept 3 hours.
No, definitely not, especially when you end up losing. It's something that you get kind of an energy boost if you actually win the game eventually, but then you lose in like triple overtime. Not the greatest feeling, but you know, they still showed promise, and I guess that's what you have to bring with you into this. And they've always, you know, already kind of gotten an early start to the tournament and started warming up.
Yeah, we can. I guess we can pick up on LGR now that we've been talking about them. I mean, they have been together for quite a while, actually, with this same lineup, and they've actually been living together. They were previously known as Arctic, and we've always known that they've been able to upset teams here and there, but their biggest flaw has to be the fact that they're really inconsistent.
Yeah, and well, that's not really something that's completely new to Finnish teams or Finnish players by any means either. But we all know that when they play at their very best, they can be absolutely very good players. And you know, we've got guys like Zori and Sagerton, especially those two kind of stand out for me in this LGR lineup, who can really bring an extremely high level. And you know, it really helps for them, or it should be very helpful for them to have a guy like Twista who has so many years of experience behind him, right? Like kind of almost to the level of yours truly, right? So you know, it should definitely be good for them over the long run. But you know, as of right now, inconsistency is a massive issue. I think the good thing for them is that they're going up against an Escape team that doesn't really have a lot of preparation coming into the tournament. They don't really have, you know, the most consistent players themselves. Yeah, so
definitely not.
You know, it could go both ways, but I'm kind of leaning towards LGR early on in this matchup.
Yeah, I think it's a hard one to call because we don't really know. We just had a small chat with the Escape guys in the VIP or the players' lounge, I guess we should say, and they've been practicing 5 maps with Cadian, basically.
Yeah, one day 5 maps.
They've gone through the maps they wanted to play in the tournament, basically once each. That's definitely not optimal, but at the same time, I mean, Cadian is a capable player. He's sort of a gun for hire type of player. We've seen him, being a standard in a bunch of teams. The last time I remember is TSM at the E-League. for the American version, and then obviously he played for TSM when they were Danish as well as a stand-in
Exactly.
the year before at the Pro League finals. So, I mean, definitely, there's a lot of promise here in this lineup as well. I feel like Barbar has been, he's probably the key player on this lineup. He's always been the one showing the numbers when Escape is competitive.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Barbar is the player to highlight. Sadly, Dead Fox, who was the guy Kaden is standing in for in this tournament, is also someone that would have been very interesting to see play here. But
Yep.
Barbar, he is going to be the one to kind of carry them along to victory if it's going to happen versus a team like LGR. And he needs to step up big. He needs to be very active with his off, which he usually is. But it's a lot of the weight is going to be on his shoulders.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the situation with this guy. I think the players should be pretty much ready. That we should maybe just go through the veto as well. I'll focus through what the team's banned, and then we can discuss it a little bit. So we had LGR banning out Cash, and Escape banning out Escape. What is Escape? Escape.
Escape, yeah.
Yep, banning out Nuke. Then LGR banned Barrage, Escape Train, LGR Overpass, and Escape Dust 2, and the map ended up being Cobblestone.
Yeah, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Just from our own experience, playing mixes on Cobblestone, not the most fun thing.
Don't want to be there.
Exactly. So, seeing what kind of coordination Escape is going to have going into this is going to be very interesting, especially going up against a team. LGR doesn't really shy away from playing Cobblestone either. They've played it a fair share.
The past month, they played it 5 times.
Exactly, and I think just right before this tournament, they played Archangels, another team that's also here on Cobble, and absolutely stomped them, exactly. So they're probably feeling pretty confident going into this map, and for Escape, they have absolutely no bases.
And considering how much this is of a team map as well, you need to have coordination, you need to have really good set plans and be able to. Obviously, you see a lot of teams as well in the tier 1 teams, like the Fanatics, for example, who don't really even have that much of a game plan. They just use their individual skill to open space on a map like Cobblestone. But if you're not Fnatic, you probably should have a bunch of strategies.
A couple of plans, backup scenarios.
To be able to convert them into rounds.
Yeah, but it might be something like that Escape are basically putting all their eggs in one basket and hoping that someone like Barbar, for instance, is going to be able to find those openings over and over again. And that's how they're going to get through their T side. But then again, playing CT side, not that easy either if you're not too familiar with each other, especially that drop room area. Trying to actually, figure out if you're going to do something similar to what VP did.
Yeah. Taz's territory outside.
Exactly, being that, window guy who's basically just wiping off T's or dropping down, or if you're actually going to take the active fight before they even, before you even give up control.
Yeah, I think it's been leaning towards playing more passively in the drop room because of the fact that it's a very claustrophobic experience. If the T side is good at flushing people out with the smokes, Molotovs, flashes, then it does get really claustrophobic. That's the reason we see a lot of teams tend to play way more passive in the area. VP being the prime example. I mean, if you had a heat map on that specific map you're probably referring to, the VP versus who was it again at the major?
I know who you're thinking.
He was literally just grinding that one spot for 15
I want to say
rounds.
SK.
Yeah, it must have been. Yeah.
I want to say SK, so the Brazilians. But no, that was definitely kind of the blueprint on how to play drop zone. So we'll see what Escape decides to do with that. But again, it could also be a bit of a nuisance for LGR going up against a team that they have absolutely no information on in that sense, because they're going to be playing a more puggy style, you'd assume, than what they've done in, let's say, previous matchups. Because they did say that they have played each other a couple of times, but that's kind of all thrown out the window with Kaden coming in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, LGR is a team that when you expect them to win, they usually lose. I'm going to be honest. It's one of those things, you look at a matchup, you think, okay, this should be a matchup where they should be at least competitive, and they would actually be favored, let's say, 60-40, and then you see them play, and they don't play at all the way they normally do. Because like you pointed out, like last night against ENCE, they were playing very well. They were winning a lot of 3-on-4 situations, a lot of the winning Afro plans where they were outnumbered. And that's a lot of the difference in Counter-Strike happens in those kind of situations. And they were playing them really well. So what I want to see is the players like Zori, like you said, he played phenomenally yesterday. I think he needs to be a key component. Also, X7 I think is a good. He's bubbling under kind of a player, being there for quite a while. I know he has a bunch of fans here in Finland. People love him. So I mean, they just got to dare to play for them to be competitive.
Yeah, it's definitely. But like your initial thing, obviously seeing, with you saying that LGR, whenever you expect them to win, they kind of lose.
They usually do. Yeah.
Well, where do you actually land? Like, who do you see being who do you expect to win, really, coming out of this?
Well, I mean, again, LGR it has a full lineup.
Yeah.
They get the practice, they'll be marching together. Then, I mean, you kind of have to expect them to win. At the same time, if Escape does have the players like Voivor, skating as well, I mean, he can be explosive too. I mean, if they come to show up and play, then yeah, definitely they can win. And I know Jumpy style can be, he has a lot of these set strats he likes to play out. I mean, Cash is the classic one for me from his teams that he's been with in like Copenhagen Games, for example. You and me were there, and a bunch of other lands that I've seen him. He's a lot of set stuff they like to do. So let's see how that works in an environment like this where they've only played 5 maps together. Yeah,
no, it's going to be interesting to see. But obviously, it's not just these 2 teams in their group, and I think we have a bit of an overview of the groups and what teams we have here, really. So we're going to get that up on the screen, but just off the top of our head, we can tell you that in this group with LGR and Escape, you also have Epsilon and Millennium.
Yep. Especially Millennium, I think, is a bit of a
wild card.
It's definitely a wild card. I mean, something we actually saw them here last time at the Assembly as well, and they were not really that impressive. See how it works out. But obviously, Epsilon, I guess, is the name that they've been on the horizon recently, or have been on the rise.
Oh, for sure. To me, going into this tournament, I feel like there's two bigger favorites than the rest, to put it that way, and that's going to be ENCE and Epsilon. Epsilon have been playing really well up to late. They, just went to China, won the PTL tournament there, and that's going to bolster your confidence as well. And it's not like it's a weak playing field either over there. They had to go through Tyloo, Vici, and also Team X.
They also kind of remind me, like, it must be the name as well. It must be because it's Epsilon, but they're like the mini Fnatic to me, like the micro Fnatic, daring play style, explosive individuals, and grinding out situations that they are not supposed to be winning. So it's I don't know, it's plays like Disco Doplan. It's been hot property recently. Rumors going back and forth. Is it going to be going to one of their top teams? Stuff like that. So definitely a team you got to be watching out for here. Yeah, no,
Epsilon expecting those guys to kind of handle their group without too many issues. But the three other teams, Millennium, LGR, and Escape, they're going to really have to battle it out. Yeah. So it's going to be really fun to watch. But it seems like we have a couple of issues with the servers as of right now, so we're going to be headed to a tiny commercial break before we get back with the action.
Just tiny. Welcome back, then. That was a quick one, actually. We didn't lie this time. Usually we always lie. We say it's going to be just a small break. No, it's just going to be a couple minutes later. 45 minutes later. Yeah, we're back. Yeah, so that was pretty good. So actually now the issues have been solved. I think we should be ready to throw it over to our lovely casters, Sadicus and Henry G.
Yes, I think we are ready. In fact, Henry, I don't know about you, but I am certainly excited to be back in Helsinki. You've never been here before.
First time.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys introduced me perfectly during the week. It's been a very interesting one. But
you might have introduced yourself, to be fair. On a scale of 1 to 10.
Probably about an 8.6.
I would say you're about an 8.6. We were in Lahti. We had the hospitality of Natsu, but we're going to jump into this one right away. Knife round underway now. LGR last night, like they said, they only got about 2 hours sleep. They played in a triple overtime, third map final for the Finnish national title against ENCE, and now they have to play the first game today.
Like Vendetta said, those are the most crushing ones. When you get that far, you've played so late, you've got so deep in the tournament. It was at the home derby as well, so those games are always very difficult. I think that is going to affect them going forward today as well. What's interesting for Escape Gaming as well, they've played with KDM for 1 day, right? So they've got, what, maybe 5 maps under their belt actually playing together. I think Cobble is probably the best choice for them. Cobble's pretty dictated in the way it's played in terms of the meta. It's pretty standard. Everyone plays in a very similar way, and everyone knows how to approach that situation. So the T-side defaults, going for drop-down run control, going towards middle, splitting the bomb sites and stuff like that. I think this is a good pick for them.
I'm not surprised as well that LGR actually banned out Mirage on their second ban, because they know that Escape Gaming had 78 rounds to practice the last time we saw them.
That's right. Yeah,
they were in the PGL minor back then. I think they were Pixel Fire was their actual name at the time. But yes, they played the 78 round, the record-setting overtime game on that map. So kind of cool to see LGR just get rid of that right away. But Cobblestone, like you say, it does have a pretty standard meta. There was a slight change just before the major. We didn't see much of the timings change due to the new addition of the stairwell. We did actually see, although everyone thought it was going to benefit the CTs, we did actually see more of a benefit, I think, on the T's post-plant position inside of the B site.
That's what was quite an important note mention for them. The CTs are trying to rotate, and you've got those. They've obviously used their incendiaries at that point. They don't have as much utility remaining, and the T's can actually watch behind themselves and between the bomb side as well. It's actually a really viable place to go. So that's quite interesting. It's helped out both sides in that respect. I think it's a nice addition. I think it did help balance the map and give us more options. But yeah, it's not been a massive issue for the terrorists too much. Like you said, 1 Molotov when you're actually executing, and that's enough to actually flush them out and potentially get you a kill as well.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not like you needed 5 Molotovs elsewhere on the execution on the B side anyway. You might put maybe 1 to 2 toward drop. You put 1 in the archway and 1 at Chicken Coop, or left 1 left over anyway. So it's easy to throw that in and not really cost yourself anything, aside from perhaps a post plant if you did want to keep a secret Molotov for that on the doors. But usually that's covered off with the smoke, and you play tight angles anyways. So
what are we thinking in terms of predictions for this one? It's a bit of a normally I think it's a horrible game. It's a best of 1. It's teams where we've got a Merc coming in as well. We haven't seen too much of LGR, but a good showing against ENCE. They're considered the best team in Finland right now, and LGR gave them the run for their money, had them against the ropes, triple overtime on the 3rd map.
That's true, totally true. But the one thing is, you do say we have kind of the mercenary and Cadian coming in. He's been like the perpetual stand-in, and for some reason in these situations, he always does well. You think back to the first EPL that their EPL, I think it was called at the time. Before it was the ESEA Pro League, when it was just the ESL in Europe Pro League. Yep. He stood in for, at the time, TSM, got a couple knives on diffuses on Mirage, and helped them do decent. I think they made semifinals at that tournament as well. Wouldn't be surprised. That's where they always make it. But he's been in this situation before, so at least they've got that going. I'm going to go with LGR. I'm going to say, I hate the scoreline thing. Again, this is an impossible one to call, but let's just say 16-11, because that's what I feel.
Okay, that's fair. You think it's going to be a competitive game, but LGR taking it in the end. But it looks like we are ready to get into this one, ladies and gentlemen. Is there anyone in the crowd? Can we get some noise going? There we go. Yeah,
you love doing that. You love doing that.
Got to wake them up, you know. First game of the tournament, then LGR starting on the terror side, Escape Gaming on the CT side. And we'll have a look at the buy coming in for the T's as well. It's going to be 2 smokes and flashbangs and decoys as well. A couple of P250s. That's kind of different to what we're used to seeing on the T side.
It's the new sound. They're all addicted to it.
That's true. We didn't really discuss the update. Obviously, the AKs have changed, the M4s, and then you can actually have burst fire and taps are a lot more viable these days. So that could be an interesting change for this tournament. Probably the first tournament we've ever seen this update being used. So.
Well, it is the first tournament. It's the only tournament. In fact, Tier 1 team's kind of on a bit of a break right now. Yep. So this is the only action that's going to be going on for the next week and a half. So we'll get a kind of a gauge of what that update's going to be like through a competitive play. I don't know if you saw Hiko's reaction when he saw the P250 noise for the first time. I think he said it best. It does sound like a paintball gun. There you go. Twista, he's going to fire it first. Looking to try and get over drop right now. LGR setting up so far for the B site. They've left 2 outside of the archway at the courtyard in case there is a push through, kind of Virtus Pro-esque in that sense. And Cadian might just walk straight into this as he's slowly heading in that position.
He decides to fall back though, but does get taken down. There it is. It's the first kill coming in. It looks like the terrorists now will be heading towards that A site. All 5 players committing towards middle. The bomb's in the hands of Twister as well. Barbar's rotating over, and he's trying to stop them, but the smoke comes down. This is a really nice position for LGR to be in right now.
It's all on a Jumpy in the back of the site. He's going to play barrels. Has to be checked off. Smoke going out will give it away. They're already staring it down, and no shots coming through with the USB to get any success. So the next closest player, you said it, Barbar first to rotate. P2000 for him as he taps out toward the long corner. But with the smoke on the site, bomb already planted and Twisted Zagerton already stacked up. Saw's got information up close. There's not really much of an access point. Zorai's gone all the way down to danger to walk flank. That's going to allow X7 underneath the balcony. He doesn't even need to move, and Maeve walks straight into it. And at that point, that's pretty much the round concluded. There's no kits left alive. They'll do what they can. Barbar manages to find 2 to make a case for it, but a Stag still has a far shot. How are they possibly pulling this back still? No kits, and the time has already expired, but Barbar, he's found at least 1 kill. Unfortunately, no, a Stag, he just picked up a kit. What? He got it in the back corner from Jumpy. They're going to pull this off, a 4 versus 2 retake, and it suddenly works out.
That's an absolute shocker from LGR. we were saying yesterday in that best of 3 versus ends, their clutch situation play was very good. They were actually dominating them in those clutches with that. The bomb was ticking away. The CTs were locked out of position. All of a sudden, the 4-on-2 is Barbar. How is he getting out of the connector and finding all those kills on towards the bomb site? It seems like they were being a little bit too passive LGR then. They were actually sitting on the bomb site, just stifled and not facing enough and allowing him to get decent positioning. And that's going to be a massive blow to their confidence. They've gone for a full force buy here. Normally, most teams that get the bomb down on the pistol, they'll be saving for the AK-47. They've gone Tech 9s, a full range of utility as well. This is a big round for LGR. They're going to be committing all 5 players to the B side as well. Saw will be leading the way, gets towards that drop down, remember. It's going to be Jumpy waiting for them.
Jumpy only gets 1 though with the SMG, has to fall away from it as Sonic 7 open up Tech 9s. They've got their 3rd as well. It's Zore, but look at the positioning. Estag using a lot of ammo on that spray down from the FAMAS, but playing in that slight little cubby on the side, the left side. And it's a position that gets overlooked quite commonly, but usually due to Molotov and flashes through, doesn't have that kind of effect late. However, Saw 1 versus 2, still alive. Tech 9 dinked up down to 33, but does have the bomb. And he's going to start to rotate on toward the A site. Caught in the act by Cadian. Mag 7's going to make it 2-0 for Escape.
And we did have the option there to go for the plant towards A, but he went for the glory 2 versus 1 situation. Had he found Cadian there, could have been interesting, but LGR not getting the plant down. There's going to be a full eco going to round number 3, as I said before. Definitely had the option of that round to save, get the AK-47s and set themselves up for a stronger campaign going forward. It was a bit of a risk, maybe a bit of a tilt move after that pistol blunder. 4-on-2. We talked about Barbar being the star player of this team. He's definitely delivered so far. We're going to round number 3, SMGs for the CTs here, 3 MP9s. Just trying to farm some cash here. They know they're going against a full eco, so should be pretty successful for them. I don't think they'll drop a single kill here. You can see the T-buy has come in. It's just going to be 4 Glocks and a P250. No grenades whatsoever. So you can see the team's being a little bit more aggressive here. Maeve, on the other side of the map, he has pushed towards long A, given a decent call to his teammates. It's going to be a B-sided attack. And at this point, it's LGR hoping the CTs get a little bit too audacious, maybe trying to push for frags. See if they can get a weapon and have some sort of window of opportunity here.
Barbar smartly going to back away on that. So the M4 will be kept safe, the only rifle in play. Jumpy, this time again, MP9, same position, falls off to the arch. He's done damage, but he reads the fact that they're going to try and push through connector, rotate quickly because they've already got a kill in Segaton, but he catches the bomb. And they've got to turn around and try and go back for it as Jumpy stares it down. A team kill coming in from Saw as they did try and get the trade onto Jumpy. It would have left them in a 2 versus 2. However, once again, Saw, same situation, and this time not Tech 9, it's just the Glock to work with. And he doesn't have the defense isolated onto one side. He can't try and run this over and get a plant.
Yeah, this situation, unfortunately for Saw, is pretty much over at this point. He will be edging towards the B site. If somehow he can find the drop on towards Barbar, he can do something with this, but the range takes him down. He had 26 HP and a Glock. Just wanted to try and get the bomb down there. We'll have a look at the cash going into round number 4. Loss bonus starting to accumulate now, so the first gun round should be relatively decent. I don't think an AWP is going to be possible for them, so it's going to be 5 rifles. An AWP does come out. Okay, so it's full glass cannon, no grenades. And we'll see how this works out for them. It's going to be a difficult proposition, and Escape on the other side, they're going to go for the double AWP setup as well. So they're ready for this. Barbar, we know he can be very aggressive with this AWP match, so he'll be looking for those first picks, I'm almost sure.
Well, this is one of the things, though. It may not be something that they're completely aware of early on. Now, Zore yesterday against Ents, obviously they have a read. They're both finished teams, the domestic battle. He knows how Alu likes to play, but if you watched even just that 3rd map on Train, Zore was very good at finding the angles and just holding them and letting an aggressive AWP player kind of trap himself by going against those positions. So he plays more of a single-style turret with that AWP, but he's able to shut down as soon as he gets the read, and there it is. He waits for Barbar to pop up. Exactly that. Has the angle covered off, and he plays the defensive T-side AWP style.
Well, there it is. Like you said, the turret being set up there, and it's Barbar. We said he was aggressive. He was hunting for some information there and does get taken down. Going to be recovered, though. AWP back in the hands of the CT. Still have 2 to play with as well, but nades just raining in towards that upper platform area. LGR still have a minute on the clock as well, just trying to gain some map control here. And they've got control of drop down as well. I think it's Saw who's getting aggressive towards that area. He's actually made it all the way through. CT's playing passively, but the kill comes in return. And Sagatoni does go down.
Pop flash through from Saw. Did get a Molotov through the window quickly to try and isolate the LGR players on the way through, but Saw now getting into the arch. He can start to open up position for his teammates to try and get down long, but Jumpy, he still resides in this position. There hasn't been that much aggression toward him. Flash is finally going to go over, but he'll burrow onto that new stairwell, and an easy peek, a controlled peek toward Twista. A 3 versus 3 rotations, dire to come in, but Maeve, he's just gotten inside the site in time to catch Saw. Traded out immediately is Jumpy back toward that long position against the AWP. And the bomb still in the hands of Zore is just going to get now into a rotation position toward the plant, but no smoke out to cover the cross means that they'll quickly be able to jump on top of this and get position, get advantage, and only 8 seconds left. It's 1 HP, and Seven's going to get taken down. Cadian with the shot.
Maeve, lovely play there from him. The time was ticking away. LGR had a great start on that map, but it was a bit of a force fight. Like we said, some players in the glass cannon north, they were forcing with the rivals, didn't really have much to play with towards the end of that round. It was a 3-on-3 situation. The time was ticking away. They were forced to go for the plant. Didn't have much to work with, and Maeve, he knew the time was low. He could be sacrificed. If he could just get 1 kill as he's going down, that's round over. That's exactly what he goes for. And it's going to be 4-0 in favor of Escape Gaming here. They're playing with a mercenary. It's going to be Cadian, who's not actually played with them at all. I think they've got 1 day practice under their belt, and this is a great start. Definitely still a T-sided map, and it's 4-0 in favor of the underdogs here. It's going to be LGR with not even a partial buy here, just some upgraded pistols, a Tech 9, a few flashbangs, 1 smoke as well. I assume that smoke will be used towards connector. Try and flash their way through long A and see whether they can just get a bomb down here. But the double orb setup, not going to be lasting for the CTC. It was a pretty close round before. Just Cadian. And we'll be holding towards middle here, just keeping it nice and long range in that familiar room we normally see Kenny S playing in. And here we go, the A-sided attack from LGR. Like I said, that smoke should be going towards connector, flash over, trying to pressure the CTs and just try and force a plant.
Lockdown from Cadian on that AWP. Twista solo, clearing the angles out toward long. No smoke, no Molotovs to try and get in toward, but it's Barbar with the M4. Gets caught by the flash, only manages 1. Saw gets the trade and pushing forward. PG-50 flash out again. They get massive damage on the Maeve. They finally put him down. As Seven gets the shot with the P250 from range, and the smoke out, the 1 smoke they had, will keep Estag in position. But Cadian, he's relocated already. Slow cross, Saw, crouching headshot. That puts Bomb in position now. They could try and get a plant out of this, but it's a 1 versus 2. And he elects to try and go for the peak quickly. Saw's done the same. He's gotten aggressive in these situations before. Again, you go back to round 2 when he had a chance to plant. He's going to try and take the battle again. And eventually you have to consider, when do you just try and build up the money for your team? Now you've got a lost round bonus at its full effect, but that extra injection of cash might have been hugely beneficial here to bring out an... So again, Zare, he'll get an AWP, but just 1 smoke to work with, 2 flashes, and he can't afford, you know, perhaps a Molotov in this situation.
I guess the mentality of that round is, in that clutch situation, they get maximum loss bonus next round regardless. It's a stage 5. They need to get a round on the board there. He needs to take some sort of risk. Goes to the 2 versus 1. He knows he could probably get a plant down there, but it would have just been extra $800. He could have won it had he hit that shot. But here we go then. The first real gun around here for the T's. They actually have got the AWP, and they've got the smokes to work with as well. A few Molotovs in there. And well, I'm assuming they'll be doing more of the same here. Holding up, waiting for some aggression from the CTs here. It's not going to be Barbar on the orb. Cadian, though, he's towards mid. If we can just jump on him, you'll see what he's going for. He's hunting for information towards middle. And giving the call for his teammates, it's going to be a B-sided attack, and here they come. It's going to be LGR executing, sticking together on this B-side.
Stag, additional smoke out at the alley. Seven's already gone through, though, and Jumpy gets caught. Stag's going to pop out at the right time, but he's been given up. No, he does get one with the tracers going through, though. Sagerton's able to immediately trade it, but now Barbar can pop out. Assist on the first kill that Maeve picked up. The second goes his way as Zare falls, and it's Twista versus 3. Bomb down inside of the site. Just slightly before the broken wall as we see it on the X-ray, and 3 players staring him down. He's desperate to hit a shot with the AK, and it's Cadian to line it up again. Remember, we said it, he's the mercenary in this situation, but he plays a very smart game. He doesn't overextend much when he has to be in this role.
Yeah, I think that's all he needs to do. He needs to, if I can get 1 frag per round and just get good information from my teammates. That's what he did. He went towards middle. It was quite an aggressive play. Didn't have a smoke to work with, but there was no terrorist towards middle at all. That risk was definitely worth it. You saw his CT comrades rotating towards that B side. It was back to basics for LGR that round. 5 players towards B to trying to stick together and trade effectively, but it's Escape once again coming out on top on the duels, and it's going to be round number 7, and LGR back onto the partial buy here. Tech 9s, Desert Eagles, a few smokes and some armor as well, focusing towards that B side. This will be more of an execute-based play to maybe do a wall of smokes towards that B side and see if they can get another plant down here. The problem is they're not really getting these bomb down at all. 6-0 though, Escape. The underdogs, we said LGR, we favored them going into this one, and so far they haven't really got going here.
And just a quick note as well, talking about favorites in this group, we mentioned Epsilon on the desk. They're currently down 13-6
no way.
Against Millennium. Remember, that's Foxio 6er. We know there's controversy around those players from their past, and now they've been at this tournament last time as well, in the same team, Millennium, in the winter tournament of this edition, edition of this tournament, sorry. But this round underway, Seven's going to start it off. Stag holds it back to 3 versus 3, and Barbar getting a shot on his Sagerton, but watch Saw as he gets closer with that Tech 9. It's Barbar, close angle to hold with the AWP, and now they've got some entry. Now they've got the opening in the site, and they've picked up that AWP to try and complement their attack, as it's Cadian that has to pull this out with the rotation.
3 versus 1, Cadian. The money is not fantastic for the CTs, believe it or not. All these rounds have been pretty close. They haven't been able to accumulate a huge amount of cash here, so him saving the AWP, that might be the best option here. He's sniffing around, seeing if there's any sort of option to work with. That will be his chance to get out now. No one facing him. And we'll have a look at the cash. If we just bring the scoreboard up quickly, I'll explain to you how that works. So there it is. You can see the CTs have about $1,000 each average across the board, so they're only going to get $1,400 next round, Matt. So the fact of the matter is him saving its AWP, even though they're 6-0 up, that's kind of a crazy thought. That just shows you these rounds, although it's a bit of a whitewash in terms of the overall scheme and the grand score, but the rounds have been close. So Cadian save the AWP. Pretty much the team will be eco going into the next one. They're going to have about $2,200, I think. So the thing is about Cobble as well, if you do have a sufficient AWPer who can control the map and go for those aggressive peaks in these rounds, there's definitely options to make things work here. Cadian, he knows he needs to go find a first pick. Maybe he can go towards middle by himself once again, go for the kill, get information while his teammates stack towards B. I don't think the force buy here is viable at all. I think they've got a good, healthy scoreline here. Let's not destroy the economy going forward and try and use Cadian the best we can. He's going towards B, in fact, this time, so focusing towards outside of the map with the AWP.
And just again, mentioning saving that AWP, remember, break potential still applies if he can find that opening pick, but it's Zare to do so instead. And it's Barbar that he finds once more on that opening pick toward the B site. Cadian, as you mentioned, still here, but he's playing a much different angle behind the statue right now.
Yeah, it was Barbar going for that aggressive fade. I guess he was just trying to see was the rush at the start of the round and only had the P250 to work with, but now Cadian adjusting himself and actually lands the shot there, brings one back in favor of Escape. 4-4 now, but the terrorists looking like they will be heading over towards the A side. It's going to be Saw with the bomb in hand. Maeve and Jumpy, though, they'll be waiting for them, and they've actually picked up a second AWP as well.
And that was actually quite clever by Cadian. Again, you mentioned he's coming into this team late, a little bit of teamwork with a Stag, who jumped across to bait the shot from Zare, the AWP player, and then he immediately peeked back out. Speaking of, he's got another shot. Saw goes down as they try and rotate back over to this A site quickly, but it is just a Stag and Jumpy left. He's picked up that AWP from Cadian, and now he's going to have to use it in a 1 versus 3. Bomb dropped, though. 46 seconds still to recover it, and they just get the kill quite quickly as they walk up the ramp. So 6-2, and the money, again, still in tatters right now on the Escape side. They've got around that 4K mark. They can justify a force here, but is it going to be a full force is the question.
I think considering the position they're in right now, I wouldn't have minded another partial buy there. Just get the upgraded pistols, some 5.7, some grenades, try and go for an aggressive play, try and get the first pick and boost towards drop down potentially. This is stretching it. They have got 5 rifles. One of those is a FAMAS, but you can see distinct lack of utility, no incendiary, only 1 kit as well. This is how you get yourself into those rut positions. I would say if you're playing the percentage game, you want to give yourself the best chance of winning this. Keep the money strong, especially when you're the underdogs here. Every round's going to count. You want to make things as comfortable as possible. The orbs have been working fantastically for them, so I feel like this could be a misplay, but if it works out for them, all credit to them, as it is going to be an A-sided attack from LGR here. You can see 3 towards long A area. This time it's Cadian waiting for them, though. This position, though, very difficult to get more than 1 kill. He hasn't got much backup as well, and here it comes. The first exchange lands the first headshot. Looking for the second as well. It's a good flashbang. Actually gets 2 for his troubles there. Zore does take him down in the end. 4-3 now, but they have got control of the A side. But the man advantage firmly in the favor of Escape Gaming.
That was well done by Cadian as well to know the situation, that if he falls back down toward middle, he'll likely have a greeting party. So gets aggressive to find 2 kills. Zare flash over, AWP, but it's Maeve in the corner, and the Molotov didn't quite reach there. I think it might have just clipped the edge of the smoke. So he wouldn't have even thought to consider that angle. However, 7 does pull this back, still try and give them a chance here, still down a man as they walk toward the A site, and Barbar's rotated over. He can play this position late when they try and bring the bomb toward the site. 38 seconds, they're committed already inside. They've got the cross covered off, and a Stag through the vent. He's going to drop bomb down, spot Saw late, and Barbar can afford to peek out now, get the information, and on top of that, get the kill as well as they pick up yet another to go 7-2. So force buy obviously justified in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Cadian stepping up there. When you have those limited situations, you need players hunted for kills there. You can't really sit back on the bomb site, allow full executes to come in. You need to be actually hunting for frags actively. Cadian, aggressive position. I said it's not normally good for more than 1, but he manages to pick up 2, gets a ton of information as well, and some misplays from LGR there. They actually had that smoke down towards long A. There was still time available, and it was Zore pushing through with that flashbang. Maeve with the easy kill with the FAMAS there, and it's going to be 7-2 now. LGR have built up a decent bank of cash. They still have a strong buy going into round number 10. If they were to win this, though, like I said, it's the economy of Escape Gaming that's the problem right now. It's another full reset if they were to lose this. Zore back on the AWP. That's not a possibility for the CTs here. It's going to be 5 rifles once again. Barbar with the AK-47. Since the pistol, he hasn't really had to go crazy in these huge clutch situations, which we've seen so many times before, but always been good for 1 or 2 kills towards this B site. It'll be a much slower play once again from LGR, just holding towards the B halls. We have got 1 person watching the flank as well. It'll be Twister. And it looks like another standard default coming in from the Finnish side here.
One thing that could perhaps be exploited right now is how passive Jumpy's been on this drop. Now, the one thing to complement it is look how much team support he does have right now with the boost on Tree, the second man on Alley. But if they could try and get A splits out that drop right now with Jumpy going toward B side every time, there might be an opening for LGR. But they go passive, they fall off of it. No one dropping down that time despite pushing the M4 back into a different angle. And Twista's going to start to go hunting out toward A just inside of the smoke. Timing nearly didn't favor because Cadian walked through just as Twista looked toward long. But with that opening pick, now they can act quick toward the A site. So fast rotation in for Maeve. Good flash as well thrown toward the ramp. That's going to slow 7 down as the Stag rotates over late. Maeve not peeking out aggressively. Molotov not quite going to reach him either. Take that back. It did just bounce far enough. As he gets up on the small wall, 7's going to fall, but it's Twist to take Barbar and Jumpy. Maeve stayed alive in all this. Somehow as Jumpy gets 2 kills on Cross, Maeve's still got a chance in this bomb drop. He jumps back down, but great shot. Zore up close, but he's last alive. And Jumpy with a solid round. 4 kills for him, reading the rotation and the timing perfectly from LGR.
Yeah, another close situation there. LGR so good at getting these first picks. They're very disciplined and patient at the start of the round. It's when it comes towards the bomb side there, that's when they seem to fall apart. These situations, they're having to work together and phase at the same time. You can see Escape, pretty clever there. That Molotov thrown towards the back of the B side there. That's to flush out any CTs that may be waiting and to trying to stop the plant going down. Jumping up towards the wall there, slow them down. He gets in that pick in, and once again, the bomb not planted for LGR. It's going to be another full eco here, but they're playing the rounds initially perfectly, getting the picks, not giving anything away. It's just big players stepping up for Escape Gaming. This time it's Cadian. He gets the first pick. Maeve chiming in as well, 5 on 3. This round's pretty redundant. There's only Glocks and PT50s here, but it's Escape winning the half already after 10 rounds, and it's going to be 8-2 to scoreline, making 9 after this one. Just Saw remaining. He's got a P250, and he's completely locked out of the round. No players killed for LGR yet. It's just going to be holding up and just hoping a CT walks into his crosshair with this paintball gun. How do you feel about that soundbar? I feel like, did it need to be changed? Was it a problem?
I think there are far greater priorities which should take the attention of the small development team that we do have. But hey, if they want to, it's one of those creative things that, you know, in the job force. If you want to make someone think that you're busy, just come up with jobs to do on your own, you know? So
Sure.
if you're not going to address the problems at hand, just address something, you know?
Yep.
That way it looks like you're working. No, I mean, look, the problem I have now with the current gun sounds is before they were very distinct. So when you heard one, like if you were against, say, a P250, you would call out, okay, it's P250. Now a lot of the pistols are so close, good opening pick again from Zare, that it's hard to really read what you're up against in these situations. I find them all a little bit too similar in that sense. I understand what they're going for, realism, but we've got Lurpus here this weekend. He's going to join us shortly. Get him started on that. I think that's his new trigger word, is realism.
Yeah, I think we can talk about that a lot. But anyway, it's going to be a 5-3 once again. LGR with a successful start here, but here's the reaction. Barbar pushing through the smoke, does find 7. And it's going to be the 4-3, manages to get one back. Saw takes him down, though. So this should be the round surely going in favor of LGR. They had lost 4-on-2s in that pistol situation. They need to be very careful there. Plenty of time to play with here. They have utility as well. This is their round to lose if they weren't to give it away. But Saw, he should be putting the final nail in the coffin of this round and Twisted to finish things off. There it is. Finally, LGR with a pretty successful round there. 4 players surviving as well. Every round they've got so far has been so close in these clutch situations. But Escape Gaming still have money to buy here. At 9-3, Matt, that's a hell of a scoreline for the team that's essentially, I'm not going to use the word mix, that's the wrong word, but underprepared team coming in with a 5th player they've barely used before. But it's Cadian. He's hunting for information. That's what he's trying to do for his team. He is dropping a lot of the times to be the first frag, but it's enough for his teammates to rotate in and try and do something about it.
And to be fair, the rounds that he's dropping is the ones where he's on A, it's late in the round, and he's pushing to try and gather, like you said, that information. Zare, quick shot in the smoke this time, a little more aggressive for his AWP. But he'll fall back, having not hit the shot against a Stag who's using the Mag 7 up close. Push through that smoke, and he'll have a perfect position to take them down. So, Scrappy, we normally see the Mag 7 in toward that drop room, but it's Jumpy again who's been playing there, and a Stag electing to try and bring this closer. Not only that, he'll gather information for Cadian right now, who is behind on that AWP. Towards Statue. Shots in, that'll give away that he's there. So far, no damage dealt. One has slipped by in the form of Segerton. And it's going to be the Molotov toward Chicken Coop, but trajectory given away, and Cadian's able to hit the shot. The Stag goes down, Shotgun not able to pick up anything, but Cadian knows they're getting closer, and Zore is going to hold the angle to take down him. Now they've got an opening on this B site, LGR, and they've got the bomb already in process of being planted. Good pickup from Maeve on Zarya, and that's unable to be traded, so it's going to give them a chance on this flank to distract, to divide. But here's that post-plant position we talked about, that new stairwell. You can dart away from that flank so easily and still have focus on the front of the site. Barbar traded, it's going to favor the defense. In this case, the defense being the terrorists with bomb down. And LGR will pick up their fourth.
Well, we said LGR were here late last night. You're just joining us. They had the Finnish final here in this very arena until, what, 3 in the morning? Seems like they've had a slow start to this game. It's been difficult for them on the T side of Cobble as well, but finally they're getting something together. 4 rounds on the board. If they can get the next couple as well, that's definitely a competitive hour. You can recover from that with a pistol round on the next. But it looks like they've actually broken the economy of escape. They'll be ecoing for the last round. This should be an almost guaranteed round for the Ts. As we go into number 14 here, this should be 9-5. They've got the double orb set up on the T side. Need to be a little bit careful. They have been dropping those orbs, especially against the ecos as well. Those pistols having a little bit of a problem for them. The T side, Cobble with double orbs, not something that's traditionally run, but in this situation I think it's fine. Like I said, they play a very slow game, looking for those opening picks. It's going to be almost 5-man stack here from the CTs. Barbar waiting towards danger, Maeve rotating towards middle as well, so it's going to be Saw with the AWP towards those mid doors. He needs to be very careful and needs to make sure he has backup. If he's going to commit to any sort of push, has to have a rifle with him to make sure those kills are returned if anything is dropped.
So Maeve in the tighter angle this time. If they can pull this to 9-6, pick up second half pistol, you've got 9-9 dead even.
That's absolutely fine, especially they're the team here. They're going to have a stronger CT side. They'll be able to push a little bit more and kind of discombobulate the terrorists. So this definitely isn't over, man. This is still anyone's game at this point. You know, Escape Gaming, they're going to be struggling on the T side, but that's the first kill I was talking about. Where's the return frag? Jumpy takes down Twister. There it is, finally. 7 does take down Maeve, but still getting a little bit tight here, but LGR recover. They managed to bring it into a 4-on-2. Jumpy and his stag remaining, and it's going to be a pretty clean sweep here. Twister, the first player to drop, but well recovered there, and it's going to be LGR coming to life.
And
as we get to round number 15.
Interesting thing to note that we talked about at some of the minors that we casted, specifically the PGL minor.
Yep.
In the sort of tier 2 to tier 3 realm, it's not uncommon to see CT-sided maps. The timings and coordinations aren't quite there in these teams, and having that, it's a little bit, look, CT side, you can play off one another. It's about rotations. Okay, yes, you got to gather information like you said, but it's the execution of the tier 1 teams that sets them apart, and that's where the T-sided score lines come from.
Absolutely, I would agree with that completely. And we're going to round number 15 here. It's going to be 5 rifles once again. 1 kit on Maeve. You can see they're lacking with the incendiary. So the CTs, I think once again, it's Acadian by himself towards middle. He needs to make sure he doesn't drop straight away. The retake will be so difficult for everything to play for. He's just trying to spot for a pixel here. Anyone hunting for information, smoke them out, as you can see on the screen right now, and then he can fall back to the bomb site and get them in a more passive position. Right now, he just needs something to work with for his team. They need to be able to establish that B dominance, but Maeve has rotated back towards Acadian. They're not 100% sure what's going on here. And it's that double orb setup as well. Once again for LGR, they want to find that first pick, which they have been great at getting. It's just been the final execution onto the bomb site that's been a problem.
Acadian waiting for any noise to be made down toward mid. He'll immediately drop the smoke out, so trying to buy time and space. 58 seconds still, though, to work with for LGR, and right now still some aggression over toward the B side. Barbar, he'll slip in toward the archway late. But there is 2 Molotovs still up on that T side. We'll see if they elect to use one here if they go onto the B site, as they still have some aggression toward drop. A Stag's going to support Jumpy as he has done time and time again, and with Barbar pushed so far forward, it will give it time, albeit not much, to rotate in toward a better position in the B site. However, they're all going that direction now, and Barbar, he's going to look away from the flash, but flyers in prematurely. If he was patient, he might not have been detected, but Sagaton able to turn back down and take him. That's your opening entry kill. Molotov elected to go toward KFC, but it's the Stag that's got the kill in response. None of the smokes used on the cross to try and get the bomb in a better position, and they're actually hesitant to try and do so, but LGR will now pick up the kills required. It's Zare, Twista, and Sagerton in doing so, and Maeve 1 versus 4. LGR may just get that 9-6 half. Remember, they had a 5-2 advantage on the pistol round in the first half to start this off. What a different story it might have been. Great execution from Twista, and now we'll see if they can try and make a same situation and convert it on the second pistol.
Yeah, absolutely. If they can bring this pistol back, they're definitely straight back into this one. We talk about it being a T-sided map traditionally, but as you pointed out, these kind of lineups, these matchups, no reason why it can't be a CD-sided map. I absolutely agree with that. But it's going to be Escape Gaming and 9 rounds of CT half. I think if you offered that to them before this game started, said you can get 9 rounds on the CT half, they would take that all day long. So they're both teams I think will be pretty comfortable situation. LGR know they can bounce back. They're the team here. They've actually been warming up at this event. They've been playing a lot last night. Obviously, it has been a bit of more of a hindrance than it has been a blessing, I'd say, because considering they were there till 3 a.m., they're going to be very tired.
And the heartbreaking loss on top of that.
Of course, but they seem to be waking up now. They had a really slow start to this game, but it seems to be getting into the swing of things now. Some convincing rounds towards the end there, but we'll have a look at the pistol mentality from Escape going forward. It's going to be 2 sets of smokes and 3 sets of armor, and it looks like an execute-based play. That normally suggests it's towards B. You can smoke off towards, drop down area and the connector as well, flash over, but it's more about running a default and seeing what options are available to you. There's no reason why you can't rotate back towards A and do exactly the same thing, but this is actually a fast play towards drop down. It's Cadian that goes down first, and they're going to be committing here. There come the smokes and the flashbangs.
Cadian down early, but Saw taken back by a stag. Good nade, Sagerton, but he peeks on top of it. A well-placed shot, toward Maeve as well on the entry. And again, they've got the advantage. This time 4 versus 2. Remember, it's not done until it's done because they lost this last time, and it's Barbar who picked up 4 to make it happen on the first pistol. That's still alive. He's got 1 to start it. Sagerton, the 1 to fall. A bomb is firmly in the hands of 3 counter-terrorists right now. This is a much different situation than we saw on the retake last time.
Barbar has a decoy. Glock and armor, but like you said, the CT's just been an absolute travesty for them to throw this round away. He does try and use the decoy here to hopefully just distract one of the CTs while he comes around this corner. If he can get the first kill, it's something to work with him. There's so many angles to check in. Now he has been detected as well. Surely not going to do anything with this. Gets 1, but that's all he'll get. Zore takes him down, and that's a decent pistol from LGR. We said if they can pick that one up, they're straight back into this one, and they managed to do it as well. Escape Gaming definitely have something to work with here. We saw the execution coming towards that B site. Double smokes towards the connector area, trying to lock out any rotating CTs, but it's the back towards the chicken coop area. We normally talk about how strong that position can be, especially in pistol rounds as well. Stepping up, Sagerton managed to find that a brutal headshot from the back, and it's going to be round number 2 here. The force buy from Escape Gaming. This is more traditional. Normally when the bombs are planted, the force buy comes in almost every time. It was interesting at LGR went for the force buy in the second after getting the bomb down in the pistol. That's why we pointed that out. But this is pretty par for the course. Upgraded pistols, armor, a couple of smokes as well. See if you can lock down potentially weaken CTs as well that have SMGs. And it's going to be LGR with 3 of those this time. 2 UMPs, an MP9 in the hand of Twister, 2 rifles. Pretty standard setup. They're going to try and keep things a little bit more passive, have crossfires established, and make Escape Gaming commit to bomb sites before the duels start.
So just the pistols to work with for Escape. Just an update on the other side of Group A. It is done. Millennium have beaten Epsilon. And the interesting thing about that is it's Millennium in some way with Sixer and FXCO. That's their old organization. We always talk about how that comes back to haunt you. TSM Astralis, Dignitas Astralis at times. I mean, it's kind of this weird curse that we always mention.
That's definitely an upset. And for the opening game as well, that's pretty nuts results. And potentially could be happening in this game as well. Right now we have Escape Gaming up against LGR. They do have the advantage here, but it's slowly dwindling away as LGR, they pick up the pistol. And now we go into round number 2. It looks like Escape will be fully committing towards the B side here. It's just going to be Zore towards the back, Saw smoked out, and he's trying to do what he can from Chicken Coop here. Doesn't land the shots yet, but he has done a ton of damage.
And smartly, Saw has just seen through the smoke to cut off anyone trying to push into that chicken coop, so the player still resides in that position. Zore, but he will get taken down. 7 picks up 2 flash out. Saw is able to jump on top of that. No pun intended as he takes down Jumpy, and Sagerton closing it. So no bomb plant as intended with that many smokes going out, and surprisingly efficient play from the player in Chicken Coop. Zore, despite not really getting many kills, he distracts long enough to allow Saw to get inside of that smoke.
Absolutely, and it's Escape Gaming after that force buy on the second. Have to go for the full eco on the third. Basically, you can have a couple of PT50s, maybe a flash here and there. They've only got one of those aforementioned pistols, no grenades to work with, so it's just going to be sticking together, run into a choke point, hope for the best. Hope CTs are missing their shots or panicking slightly with the amount of players on their screen. It looks like a B-sided attack coming in. I'd say towards drop down's probably the best bet. You can probably lose a couple of players in exchange. Oh, that's a headshot that does what? About 40 damage there, so not going to be a huge amount of impact, but 7 will be falling back in. The first kill comes in from Sagerton. And that should be the round over at this point. They've established it is going to be pretty much full eco, but a kill from Jumpy does make things interesting at least.
Oh, Cadian goes for the audacious plant in the open, but caught off. Sagerton, he's able to pick up 2, and on top of the site, Saw rotates back to find Barbar coming out from the archway at drop. And there it is, the score we talked about. So 9-9, finished team right back into this game, and now we go into the first gun. This is where we really start to get the indication. Both teams And I say both teams, obviously, the terrorists escape getting into their first gun, haven't built up any bank, but both teams are actually in a position where they aren't well off financially because LGR have lost 2 to 3 in each of those rounds against the anti-eco. So Sagaton's the only one with sort of a round in hand at this point, if you will.
Well then, we'll have a look at the buy for Escape. It's going to be 5 AKs. Decent man utility, not fully equipped for sure. That is the peril of forcing up in that second round of the bomb plant. And we'll see how this works out for them. 9-9, a big round indeed. This would break the economy of Escape for sure. They are focusing towards that middle part of the map right now. That's pretty standard, especially for Scandinavian teams. Smoking off towards middle, getting control of danger and long A, and then you can fall back and you take the vision away from the CTs at that point, and it means you have a lot more options in terms of your executions. But we'll have a look at what the T's decide to do. It's going to be Barbar working towards the drop-down area with Cadian as well. They want to see maybe if an 8 split's a possibility here.
Positions on either side of that drop room, though. They will have to find at least a trade on the way through. Sagaton boosted. They've got the according position on Twista to watch out long, make sure that he doesn't get flanked out, watching toward that lower mid. Has to play a slightly more aggressive angle and leaving his teammate there, so behind the APC is where he'll elect to go. But as you mentioned, they're still trying to set up for this split, and Barbar has gotten down in toward this drop room. No trade required as they've gone slightly more passive, but X7 in a prime position to rotate as well. Twista has information that they are toward long, goes to the repeat, taken down by Maeve. That's the way through, and Sagaton on top of that wall. Flash comes through, he's blinded up and spotted as Stag's got him. There's no trade potential. This is working out so well for Escape on the way now through to the A site. Rotation's coming over as mentioned, but Zare, he still has to bypass Barbar, who's inside drop, and can be a huge problem. There's X7 though, he's picked up 2. That's gonna slow things down. Barbar's gotta make a move quickly as Jumpy now has bomb. Maeve has the site, but it still has to cross, and Saw's watching it, waiting for it. Jumpy, he'll take the safe way in behind the hut, and Maeve's able to pick up the kill as he does so.
That's actually a pretty nice round from Escape Gaming. That's textbook CS right there. Getting for that map control. They got Barbar in position towards the drop-down area. His teammates found a kill towards that A site. That's such a dream scenario. Not only have you got presence towards the B site where they have no idea whether you're there, you're getting kills on the other side, and it allows Barbar to actually get tons of information in terms of styled queues running past, and he can call for rotations in, and just be a complete nuisance in the side there. Great teamwork from Escape. Just as we mentioned before, they're coming in of a mix, a stand-in player here, and I didn't expect to see that kind of synergy between them to actually make those kind of rounds work. But they go up 10-9 now. It's going to be an eco coming from LGR. Not struggling in this first. What round is it now? Round number 5, I believe. Man, it is early. My brain has not been fully functioning just yet. All right. But we are getting there. It's
We've been
on
vacation.
It is. Have you missed me?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely
still
not.
mates, but definitely haven't missed each other. But round number 20 comes in. Desert Eagle, CZs, 5-7s. Saw has gone for some body armor as well, where they've lost the first frag. At this point, Escape Gaming know it is an eco. They don't really have to work too hard on this one. Stick together, make sure nothing slips away from them. You see Barbar holding towards those B halls, seeing if anyone will be boosting or pushing towards the B side of the map. And it's pretty much guaranteed they win this one. It'd be an absolute nightmare for them to throw anything away at this point. Still have a minute remaining, and smokes and flashbangs, just trying to feel out any sort of aggression from the CTs here. Well, this is a perfect Molotov as well. That's going to work out nice for Kenny, but he doesn't stick around to see the reaction.
Definitely didn't. He flushed him out so well, and he could have easily picked him off on the transition, but Cadian scared of his own flames. Watching too many Summit clips, probably. As Barbar walks in toward B site, stack on A means easy access, easy bomb plants. Cadian will pick up Zari. Should now have the information that A is quite heavily occupied, and as the bomb goes down on B, round all but concluded. It brings us to 11, Henry. Mine goes to 11. Yours goes to 8.6.
5 on 2, it's going to be Saw and X7. Waiting, hoping they can get something out of this Saw with the body armor as well. Just an interesting note, if you do keep your body armor at 100, it's a much cheaper upgrade to the head armor in the next round. But the thing is, against AKs, it's not really a deciding factor. AKs are one-shot, headshot regardless. But a little bit of trivia for you there, in case you're not a big fan of CS. You don't know too much about the nuances in terms of the economy. But he's going to be saving the armor and the CZ as well. That helps boost him slightly going to the next round. The money's okay. Sagaton's gone 7.2 thousand, so he definitely can get AWP, so I'm sure that'll be coming out at some point. And it's going to be Escape, though, 11-9 up, getting themselves in a more comfortable position, building up their own economy as well. trying to keep the pressure applied towards the CTs here. 11-9, and there it is. Zore with that AWP. We'll be interested to see where he decides to go, whether we go for those aggressive picks towards middle. Looks like to be holding the top angle here, seeing there is a fast play towards the A site, allowing his teammates to focus more on the B site here, but there will be a 5-man B attack from Escape Gaming, trying to keep things nice and simple here. We know their strategy book isn't going to be too deep. As Cadian leads a charge, wants to be in, trying to find that first kill.
He can't open it, but does do damage sufficient enough as he does walk through, does get Zori sufficient enough for Maeve to take down Sagaton. It's even trade so far, but it does give terrorists some access to the site. And escaping to try and get a bomb plant down into this. Twista fires back through, catches one rotating late, and Maeve, he looks away. He looks toward his teammate who passed away over by Chicken Coop, perhaps with miscommunication, assuming that he died from a late peek. Still, though, they do get the bomb plant. Maeve on 6 HP. He could hardly dance behind that statue. The second he peeks, it's going to be mostly for information. Barring any miracles, and one taps down toward the rock as Seven's going to try and push. Headshot spotted, re-peek successful. And Barbar, the last alive. In behind the boxes, they've got the information. Seven advancing. He now knows where both are in turn, but again, he's the one that has to correctly peek against this. Does take down Seven aggressively. Leaves the player trying to get the bomb completely in the open. There's a smoke down. Tries to bait out the plant, but can't do it. He's got no kit. It's going to have to fade away, and Escape's going to pick up their 12th round.
Big round there. LGR, you have to say they had the man advantage at one point. Saw, like you said, he had the complete shot on towards Maeve there. Like he had it in the back. He was looking towards Chicken Coop. He had 2 kills already in this round. Could have secured it, but a bit of a whiff on the spray on the bomb side. That was the most important kill, unfortunately, for him. The round slips away. LGR doing what they could in that 2 versus 1 situation, but no kit. Smoke goes down on the bomb there. That kill was so vital. Needed to lock down Barbar as quickly as possible, but he's so calm in these situations. Always been known for his clutch play, and it's a big round for them to pick up, and I think Sagaton has managed to pick up an AWP here, so he did manage to save it from the last round, but it's still Escape Gaming getting 1 step closer to taking this first opening game here in Helsinki. It's going to be Maeve, though, taking down Twista. It's up to Sagaton now to rotate. He needs to find a kill here. I think he has fired a shot, so the terrorists will be aware this is a possibility to probably slow things down now. Going to more execute-based mentality, just completely lock out the AWP play. And round number 22. A difficult proposition here for LGR. As there's the smoke towards long A. It's taking information away, keeping them second guessing here as they gain map control here, the terrorists.
Molotov clear out danger from Jumpy, just take out all possible positions where LGR might be stacked up hiding and trying to use these pistols in close proximity, including that of the crossfire out toward long, and good pickup as Jumpy will find 7. Additional smoke deployed as well, so that he doesn't give any information away that he's rotating back toward B, which once again will be vacant on entry. Barbar the one to discover so. And all things considered, and AWP even more so down. I was going to say at least they could save the AWP and try and salvage that LGR to the next round. I was thinking that all things considered, though, a round going to be going to Escape Gaming. It'll make it 13 and 3 to go, and LGR, they got 3 rounds after the pistol. They've yet to pick up a gun round.
Indeed. Well, it's going to be 13-9 now. Escape Gaming.
Do you know what this CZ new sound reminds me of when it's shot that quickly?
Go on.
It's like an 80s techno rave where like the record's spinning really quickly.
The record
just like
spinning
drop
quickly.
like a beat. Never mind.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like before, like a hip hop track would start, like that kind of noise. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Ulf's asking me if I'm trying to bring an age reference into this by bringing the 80s up. I'm not Sir Scoots yet.
We're trying. Anyway, there it is. LGR now. They have got the first real full buy here. It's going to be Zore taking down Cadian once again. It's our first pick. They have been very good across the series getting the first kills. It's towards the end of the round. That's where things start to slip away. Barbar, though, what a reaction. Puts it through the smoke. Picks on Saw. It's quickly dealt with by 7, though. Couldn't get the multi-frag there. Definitely had an opportunity to do it. And it's going to be the heavy man advantage. Twister getting another double. That's the round tied up now. Just a stack waiting in towards the B halls. Only has the AK and a flashbang remaining. This is a pretty clean round for LGR. Escape Gaming
consistent.
Trying to push through there. It's Cadian towards middle, maybe over-facing slightly there. That's what we like to see from the CTs, being assertive, getting those first frags and landing their shots as well. So managing to save the AWP. The money should be starting to build now. Zori rotating back from middle towards the chicken coop area. Takes down the final player, and there it is. Double figures at least. Still definitely within this game, but if they were to lose this round, Matt, that's when it's almost impossible for them to come back. There would be full loss bonus reset. The money's tight right now, yes, you can see on the screen. They're actually struggling a little bit. If they were to just get 1,400 next round, It'll be a force fire. They have shotguns, Famuses, no orbs, that's for sure. Need to be very careful this one. This is probably the deciding round of this game, I would say. If Escape can pick this one up, it's pretty much GG. But if LGR can find a decent round, another clean one like we saw before, maybe they can find some form and get back into this.
So 4-round bonus reset now against LGR.
That's
Keep
the big
that
factor.
in mind.
Big factor.
Especially with Cadian still able to bring out an AWP this time around. Sagaton, Zore, Saw all inside the B site together. Saw slowly rotating back out toward Connector for a quick rotation, but right now an even spread across the map for Escape. Slight bias toward A as they start to pursue inside of the lower mid position and get some further information. Zore is going to do the same with his AWP out toward B long. But so far, fairly quiet. Spray drops down. It allows the Stag to fall silently as Saw. He would have heard the gun fired from above. It pushes him slightly out the window. They've committed one player to this. Interestingly, a Stag is going to get left down there to try and work on his own to gain information as they start to go out toward long.
It's Maeve who's on the other side of the map as well, trying to be a nuisance, keep the CT players towards that side of the map. He's successfully doing that right now as well. It's the B-side attack. Zore, though, with that AWP, he's keeping the dream alive towards the upper platform as well. Sagaton chiming in, and that's going to be the round secured, surely at this point. They have thrown away these horrible situations before, but now it is the 5-on-2. That's going to be the round concluded. As Cadian is towards Connector, 10 seconds remaining. Can't really do much about this. They'll be trying to save their weapons. Cadian, though, he's got the AWP and Connector. This is a pretty horrible situation for him as well. Sagaton coming into that window, he's going to go down. Luckily, manages to drop before the time runs out, so he does get money going into the next round, but that's, like I said, a big round for LGR. All 5 players alive. Dream scenario here. We know the money wouldn't have been great. Not only if they had lost that round, but it had gone down to a 1 versus 1. Still a difficult situation for them. 5 players alive. That's really brought them back to life here, because it's actually going to be breaking the economy almost of Escape here. They saved one AK-47. They won't be forcing into this, so it's going to be jumpy on the AK. Some upgraded pistols here. Stag and Cadian with head armor as well. So enough to work with here, but they haven't committed.
2 very efficient back-to-back shutdown rounds from LGR, where they now take control. Still down 2 at 13-11. Sagaton inside of the arch, not spotted yet. Stag's managed to get down with a deagle and take down 7. No response to that either, as it was on the flank that he caught him out. So an aggressive play from the rifle. Stag not willing to commit to try and pick that gun up, though, as Sagaton's going to take back Bar, and now LGR go to work. It's Cadian to fall immediately after. Mabel trade. And Zore on 1 HP is the difference right now, as they sit with 3 against the 2 of Escape Gaming. But the positioning as such, a Stag, he's still trying to go to work, swaps to the Deagle, Twist is going to fall, and now Zore's 1 HP could be a problem. With the gun barrel sticking out, it's all too easy. Maeve's going to pick it up and a round recovered potentially, as Saw has to rotate back over and try and find a Stag on his entry, nearly catches him in the alley. And a smoke to go out to allow the freedom of movement. Nade as well, that might catch with the bounce, nearly does. A Stag goes down to 2 from 13. But he still has to find the shot toward the statue. He knows where both players are, roughly speaking. He hasn't got the exact location onto a Stag, but he's got to work quickly. He does have a kit in hand, 44 seconds to work with. That smoke still is entirely limiting his vision now. It's coming back to haunt him as he's gotten inside the site already, and as he walks out, should be in the open, and a Stag's going to hold the angle.
Well, like I said, it wasn't a round Escape Gaming committed to, financially speaking, but they make it work for themselves. They go for that drop-down control. The upper platform as well as Twister getting taken down with the Desert Eagle. That was the key frag for me as well. And you can see that retake coming in, the 2 versus 1, definitely possible. But it's very disciplined play from Escape Gaming there. They knew they were low HP, they're up against it, managed to salvage 1 smoke there. That was a really important factor. I mean, the channels of opportunity for the CTs rotating and actually retaking that site were limited. And now we go into round number 26, 14-11. Escape Gaming touching distance now of taking this best of 1 series against LGR, one of the bigger names in this tournament for sure. All comes out on Zore. He has been good at getting these opening picks. But Cadian once again looking to find that first frag. We've seen his setup before. Looking for anyone that's going to be hunting for information there on that platform area. It's going to be the Molotov to come in, see if he can flush out any CTs there. But smoked out for now. Cadian is going to have to readdress his approach to this one as we go into the 1-minute mark. CT's pretty passive set of beings. He Twister's the only player towards the A side of the map. He's only got a Famus as well. That could be problematic. It's a pretty much all-in play towards the B side here. No kits as well, once again, Matt. And they are starting to struggle in terms of the utility remaining. 2 smokes and 1 incendiary. That's it.
Sagaton again going to play in that archway as well. Molotov in. Jumpy able to just escape it, as is a Stag, and importantly so, because he's able to find the opening pick on a Saw. 7 desperate to try and fire back through that with an M4. Can't find it. Split onto A, the problem. Twista spotted already on the site. Molotov toward the barrels. He gets aggressive forward of it. Takes down Barbar. A second potentially as well. Has to switch guns, and that is just going to keep Maeve alive. As the Stag and Jumpy are able to pick up kills. Escape Gaming maintain control of the round, although it desperately came close with Twista's positioning, and now a Stag is going to fall, but not before taking down X7, and this should, although I say should, Sagaton's got himself in a decent position. I was going to say should put us on map point, but still a 1 versus 2. Low HP on Maeve. Cadian has the location figured out, but just getting the AWP into an open position now, and there it is. Execution from Maeve. Reads it perfectly as Sagaton jumped back down.
Escape Gaming with a big round there. They managed to get to map point here and indeed series point. It was LGR, like I said, they went for the all-in investment towards that B side of the map, just leaving 1 player with a FAMA set. That's what came back to haunt them as well. Escape Gaming with the default at the start of the round, and then getting that first pick, going back towards A, finding that FAMA's player isolated on the side as well. They still had Molotovs, flushed him out. He got 1 kill, that was Twister, but just wasn't enough. LGR had to go for that. They knew if they lost this round, they're not going to have anything to work with the next, and this could be the moment we'll be waiting for, Matt. It's going to be 4 pistols and Zore with the scout. It's very unlikely at this point they'll be able to pick up this round, but you never know. The teams, especially mixes like this, they do struggle to close these games out. They overthink these situations, and instead of playing to win, they start playing to not lose, right? They change their approach. They figure they're so close to actually taking this, so could be a few more twists and turns. We'll see what happens as we go into round number 27 here.
Barbar setting to throw the pop flash out through the mid archway. Twister going to re-smoke out toward long. Sagaton desperately playing in the corner position. We've seen a number of different people try this position throughout the course of this game. Barbar, Maeve, they both did it on their CT side. Maeve with more success than Barbar due to a failed Molotov that allowed him to stay in that corner and get overlooked when Zore came through, but now it's Jumpy that's going to lead the way, and Maeve spotting up Sagaton through the smoke. AK-47, Jumpy tries to get around the corner fast enough to catch Twister, but instead the Molotov, he won't be positioned so that he catches him in transition, but he will push him further back from the corner as the Stag is able to take down at least 1 more Twister. He's got 1, but it's the last kill his team will find. 16-11. So there we go. Pretty straightforward for Escape Gaming in the end.
I would say so. We thought LGR for winning the pistol in that second half.
I was right about the score, wrong about the team.
That's true. I don't think you get bonus points for that. But I like your spirit. I like your spirit as usual. Yeah, we said LGR. We thought that the unit, the team, coming back into this one, getting to the 9-9. I thought they were going to be able to string together their CT rounds. But Escape Gaming, they're playing with a mercenary here. And they're actually, very surprisingly, they've got great synergy going on. They're actually getting the first picks, working together, splitting the bomb sites effectively. Good use of the smokes as well, isolating CTs and making good mid-round decisions. So I'm pretty impressed with them, and I think it's a good start to their tournament.
Absolutely, and with that said, I think we're ready to jump back over to the desk where we've got our first 2 analysts, and also the man who loves realism is now joining them. Tommy is on the desk.
Well, guys, I think, like I said in the pregame, it's like when you expect LGR to win, they usually disappoint you. And that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah, they started off in great fashion, losing a 5v2 after playing a pistol round. Like it gets to the point where you actually don't think you're seeing what you're seeing at that point. It becomes so dumb to actually watch. So they started off that way. I think they lost 6 rounds in a row before they even got into it, and that was off the back of Zore having 2 deagle headshots, opening up that B bomb site. But other than that, the beginning of the game pretty much set the tone for the entire game, and it just wasn't enough for LGR. It felt like they played really poorly. I'm not sure if the fact that they just got 3 hours of sleep last night could be a deciding factor, but that was definitely not what we saw them do versus ENCE yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's usually hard for sort of the second tier or third tier teams to play as favorites because it's a whole different ball game. It's a lot more pressure. It's really easy to play when no one expects you to win, so you can just easily go in. You have no pressure. You can do all the things you were always doing in practice. And then when you come in here and all of a sudden you're the favorite, you have some fans here watching on site, it's a whole different ball game. We just saw that there. I think if you look at their results over the past couple of months, LGR probably at least equals.
Oh, yeah,
but I mean,
definitely.
I think they almost got lucky to even get that close in the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. This could have spiraled very easily. You know, barring that eco ramp pretty much, or that semi-force buy. coming out from LGR, that could have easily been 9 rounds straight from Escape, and already at that point it's kind of done.
We could be having the opposite scoreline if they had mocked up that best round, basically. I mean, getting those 6 rounds, if they had a better early start to it, a half, then I figured they could have easily had that 9 rounds to work with on the CT side.
Yep.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think I think in the CT side we saw that they were going to get rolled over regardless. So
yeah, actually,
it's only a matter of time. It was like the only rounds they won. They sort of had to really work for those rounds, aside from the one round where only a couple of their players died. And it seemed like every single time Escape went around, it sort of just came easy for them.
Yeah.
So I think the natural progression of that game, if we were to just continue playing, was that Escape was going to continue rolling over and getting more and more rounds.
Yeah, and it's like CT sides that get rounds on a cobblestone, they're really good at setting traps on towards the A side, in the middle and the side, and the T's are going to try to gain map control, and it was just given away by LGR way too easily for Escape. They would just be able to pinch them if you're really, like, they have to really fall back on that CT side, and then you have 2 players playing A side all the way down to the CT spawn. It's always going to be super hard to have any reads, any possibility to react in time.
Yeah, one thing Escape did really well, and something that they, both LGR and Escape had a different way of playing drop room, which we alluded to in the pregame. If you're going to play it aggressively and actually have somebody peeking into it to get information, or if you're going to play like LGR did and basically give up the entire area and play for, kind of the set defense once Escape decide to move in towards B, for instance, or try to set up an A split. But Escape did a really good job of just like sneaking people into drop room and not necessarily using them initially, and just having them lurk about, get information, hear footsteps, see if they can pick up a rotation here or there, or just sit completely still until the rest of the team makes a move somewhere else. So they just did a really good job of actually just playing to the fact that they knew LGR were given a drop room that easily, and they weren't going to try to get information by peeking in or pop flashing in and then checking anything to that effect. So that was really well done by Escape.
Let's have a look at the group, by the way. See where we're sitting at right now. It's the GSL format we're going to be playing here, so basically means you win 2 games, you're through. You lose 2 games, and then you're out of the tournament. It's quite straightforward, you could say. And right now, as we know, we saw Escape win the first game, and on the other side, Millennium beating Epsilon 16-10. That's something you would not be expecting.
No, I mean, I didn't see the game, obviously. We were watching the other game, but I mean, Epsilon really must have dropped the ball. They have simply looked far better online recently. Disco Dublin and Draken have both been solid players, up-and-comers in Sweden, probably have very solid futures ahead of them. But as a team, that was just a very disappointing result. Millennium's not exactly a world-beating team. They're not. Can't exactly go to many tournaments because of one of their guys being banned from most of them. So, I mean, it's just not a team you can afford to lose against if you want to be competing for titles anywhere.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And funnily enough, it is FXO, and it's kind of the same spot where we found him in 2013 before everything went down. The fact that he's playing tier 2 teams, tier 3 teams, and he's dominating them. And 3 years later, here we are once again, and he's doing the exact same thing. And because it's a BO1, it's going to make it so much more volatile as well. If he gets going, then he can single-handedly destroy a team.
The only thing we could go by really is the statistics for this game, and if you look at them, it's like you have Xaloth and Disco Dublin, especially sitting at 10 frags throughout the game. On the other hand, the aforementioned FXO, who's banned from most of the tournaments, had 29 frags in the match. So, yeah, definitely very disappointing from Epsilon.
To be fair, Draken had a very good game. He was by far Epsilon's best player. He's the only one putting in work.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you have that kind of opening half on CT side of Mirage, it's just not going to be pretty for you.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but it's going to be unfortunate for LGR. I think Epsilon is going to be super pissed off about this. But at the same time, we're going to be covering the winner game now. It's going to be Escape versus Millennium. That's going to be coming up next.
The problem that I see in this for LGR is that the one thing they have going for them is the fundamentals. Usually Twista has their team play smart. They don't make that many mistakes. They usually play fairly well off of each other. They're a structured team. But actually, the rounds we saw them lose against Escape, a lot of them were just over-peaking, bad communication, people diffusing when no one was covering, just very basic mistakes. That's basically the kind of stuff that you would expect from less experienced teams that don't necessarily practice as much. Yeah. And if Twista teams are making those mistakes, then I don't really see where they can go for a win. Because I think Epsilon definitely has them beat in the individual skill department. Exactly. I think Draken and Disco Dublin can run laps around these guys if they're playing well, and that's going to be a real problem going forward for the Finns.
And then also the fact that the Epsilon is they do a lot of aggressive stuff. They want to be explosive, and I feel like that's going to be a thing that LGR is probably going to be struggling with. As you say, they like to play a structured game of Counter-Strike, and when they're one of those teams that you can easily play around with when you're playing aggressive. So I feel like this should be heavily favoring Epsilon, barring the fact if the individuals are going to be just disappearing from Epsilon. Obviously, there's a chance, but in a normal day, normal environment, I feel like it should be Epsilon in any day of the week.
Well, the one thing LGR do have going for them now is assuming they don't really care about the crowd and don't get affected by it too much. Actually, now they are back to being the underdogs because everyone for sure thinks Epsilon's going to win, which might help them a little bit. And at the same time, that could actually be problematic for Epsilon because someone like Disco Daplin, I mean, these guys are very young. They're not very experienced. They haven't gone to many tournaments. So if they're at all doubting themselves after losing to a team, they definitely would, if we asked them before the game, they would have said, yeah, we got this.
Yeah,
so if they extrapolate that thought and they think, okay, well, we should have won the last game, we should win this game, but so if they have a bad start, I think they could start doubting themselves, and that could be problematic, I think.
Well, definitely could be. I mean, mentality is obviously going to be a big thing for them, and I guess that's where LGR has the benefit of Twista. Once again, just being that calming presence in the team. The most experienced player you have on Epsilon's side is Celos, and that doesn't really give you the same. You can't really boast about Celos being the most experienced guy on your team. That doesn't really take you. A
doesn't have a lot of weight on that. Yeah.
Exactly. So sure, he's been to a couple of medium-sized tournaments and that type of thing, but yeah, they don't really have that pick-me-up guy or the one who's going to keep them centered if things start going awry. And we saw that. I'm assuming that's going to be, or what was, pretty much what happened versus Millennium. They get off to a bad start. They're not able to get back into it, and then you see, where do you go from there if you don't have every one of your individual stars kind of firing on full power.
Well, that being said, I guess we're going to go on a break, and then afterwards we're going to be covering that Escape versus Millennium game. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.